Hey, heroes! Man superhero, woman superhero. Ready for a new story full of adventures and laughter? Grinning face with smiling eyes. Let's sit back and relax and begin our journey into the world of imagination. Before we begin, press like, thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, so our lovely family can grow even bigger. The boy who survived the ocean. Long ago, in a small and peaceful fishing village beside the wide blue ocean, a boy named Miguel lived with his family. The village was quiet and beautiful, with small wooden houses, sandy paths, and boats resting gently near the shore. Every morning the fishermen sailed out to the sea while the sun slowly rose over the horizon. Miguel loved the ocean more than anything in the world. He would sit on the beach for hours, watching the waves move slowly and listening to the sound of the water touching the shore. Sometimes he imagined what it would feel like to travel far across the sea, to discover unknown islands and mysterious places hidden beyond the horizon. His biggest dream was to grow up and become a brave sailor who explored the great ocean. One bright and sunny morning, Miguel's father invited him to join a fishing trip for the very first time. Miguel's heart filled with excitement and a little nervousness too. He had always watched the fishermen leave the village, but now he would finally sail with them. The small wooden boat rocked gently as they pushed it into the water and climbed inside. Slowly the boat moved away from the shore. The sea was calm and peaceful, and the sunlight reflected on the surface of the water, making it sparkle like thousands of tiny diamonds dancing across the waves. The morning felt calm and beautiful. White seagulls flew gracefully above the boat, calling to each other as they searched for fish. From time to time, playful dolphins appeared near the boat, jumping out of the water and diving back again. Miguel laughed with joy when he saw them. His father showed him how to help throw the fishing nets into the sea. Miguel tried to do everything carefully and correctly. His father watched him and smiled proudly, seeing how excited and responsible his son was becoming. At that moment, everything felt perfect and peaceful. But slowly, the sky began to change. The bright sunlight started to disappear behind thick gray clouds moving across the horizon. The calm ocean began to move more strongly. A cold wind swept across the water, pushing the waves higher and higher. Miguel looked around and noticed the change. The peaceful sea was slowly turning into something wild and powerful. His father's face became serious as he looked at the dark clouds gathering in the distance. Soon the wind grew stronger and stronger. The waves rose higher and crashed against the boat with loud splashing sounds. The small wooden boat began rocking from side to side as the storm quickly approached. Miguel held tightly to the side of the boat while his father tried his best to steer it safely through the growing waves. Rain started falling heavily from the dark sky, and thunder rumbled far away. The peaceful trip had suddenly turned into a frightening storm. Then a huge and powerful wave rushed toward the boat. It lifted the boat high into the air before crashing down violently. Miguel lost his balance and slipped. The small wooden boat tipped over, throwing him into the cold, swirling ocean water. For a moment everything felt confusing and frightening. Miguel struggled to breathe as the waves pushed him up and down. Desperately, Miguel looked around while trying to stay above the water. Not far away, he noticed a floating piece of wood drifting on the waves. With all his strength, he swam toward it and grabbed it tightly. The wood helped keep his body floating above the water while the storm continued around him. Rain poured heavily from the sky, and the wind howled loudly like a wild animal moving across the ocean. Time passed slowly while Miguel fought to hold on. After a long time, the storm finally began to calm down. The powerful wind slowly faded, and the waves became smaller. The clouds started to move away, and the sky grew clearer again. But Miguel realized something frightening. He was now far away from the village. The ocean stretched endlessly around him in every direction. There was no land, no boat, and no people anywhere nearby. Miguel's arms felt tired and sore from holding the wood for so long. His body was cold from the water, and his teeth began to chatter. Even though he felt scared and exhausted, he refused to let go. He knew that staying calm and holding on to the floating wood was his only chance to survive. He kept floating quietly as the sun slowly moved across the sky. While drifting on the ocean, Miguel suddenly noticed a dark shadow moving slowly beneath the water. His heart began to beat faster. A large shark appeared, swimming in a slow circle around him. Its fin cut through the surface of the water as it moved quietly below. Miguel stayed as still as possible, barely moving his arms. He held the floating wood tightly and tried not to make any sudden movements. For several long and tense minutes, the shark circled around him. Miguel felt fear, but he remained calm and silent. Finally, the shark slowly turned away and disappeared back into the deep blue ocean. Miguel took a deep breath of relief, thankful that the dangerous creature had left. As evening arrived, the sun slowly sank below the horizon, and darkness covered the sea. Soon the night sky filled with countless bright stars shining above him. The ocean was quiet now, and the waves moved gently in the darkness. Miguel held onto the floating wood and tried to stay awake. While floating alone under the stars, Miguel thought about his family and his village. He imagined his parents waiting for him and the warm lights shining from the houses near the shore. Thinking about the people he loved gave him strength. The hope of seeing them again helped him stay brave during the long night. Just before sunrise, when the sky began to grow brighter, Miguel suddenly heard a faint sound in the distance. At first he thought he was imagining it. But the sound grew louder. It was the engine of a fishing boat moving across the water. Miguel lifted his head and looked around quickly. With all the strength he had left, Miguel began waving his arms and shouting loudly. He called for help again and again, hoping someone would notice him in the wide ocean. After a moment, the boat slowly turned in his direction. The fishermen had seen him. They quickly sailed toward him and pulled him safely onto their boat. They wrapped him in warm blankets and gave him food and water. The fishermen were amazed that such a young boy had survived the storm and spent the entire night alone on the ocean. When the boat finally returned to the village, Miguel's family rushed toward him the moment they saw him. They hugged him tightly, filled with relief and happiness. Tears of joy rolled down their faces as they realized he was safe. Soon the entire village gathered to hear Miguel's incredible story. He told them about the storm, the floating wood that saved him, the shark that circled beneath him, and the long night alone in the ocean. Everyone listened with amazement. From that day on, Miguel's story was told again and again throughout the village. Parents shared it with their children as a lesson about courage, patience, and hope. Miguel had shown that even a young person could face great danger and remain brave. Miguel never stopped loving the sea. But after that adventure, he respected the ocean even more. He understood its power and danger. And he always remembered the night when courage, hope, and determination helped him survive the great ocean. The end. Water wave. And that is the incredible story of Miguel, the boy who survived the ocean. Sometimes life can be scary and difficult, just like the big storm Miguel faced. But his courage, patience, and hope helped him stay strong until help arrived. Remember, even when things feel hard, bravery and never giving up can help you overcome anything. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing adventures and inspiring stories for kids. See you in the next story.